welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with the Peekaboo You Boy collection from Pebbles. It includes this 36 paper pad. I added in 4 sheets of cardstock, and I also used these thickers, these coordinating stickers, and the coordinating die cuts. Okay, so that's it for our material list for this week's video. There is 36 papers in here, so every paper is repeated 3 times. So there are 12 different papers. They are single-sided. They are white on the back. I believe if you were to buy the pages individually, they would be double-sided. But I chose to use the paper pad. You definitely could use the individual sheets. I do list the name of the papers in the cutting guide when I'm cutting them. So to pick my cardstock here, I went ahead and looked at the striped paper. That way we get a feel for all the different colors in this paper collection. I originally wanted to use this grayish cardstock, the twill cardstock from Basil, but I just decided it was too gray. So I went with Sahara sand from Stampin' Up. And then that yellow color is from Stampin' Up as well. It's called Crushed Curry. And then this green color is called Pear Pizzazz from Stampin' Up as well. It's kind of a muted down green. It's a little bit lighter than some of the green tones in the stickers, but that doesn't bother me too much. I don't really like how this green cardstock looks with these stickers alphabets, but I can use it on top of the yellow or that neutral color, so I'm gonna keep that green anyway and improvise if I have to with some of my titling later on. So here I'm just ripping out all of the papers that I need from this paper pad. This baby paper and that green dotted paper I ended up I just didn't really like them, so I didn't even bother pulling them out. There was 2 journaling card type of pages, so I took those out and we're going to embellish with them later. So here are some of the pages that I'm left with that I like. I really like that striped paper as my first accent. I need 2 accents and 4 background papers. This animal print paper, it was the only one that was like that, so I decided to use that as my second accent and use some of the plainer pages as my backgrounds. So I went with that small print floral, so it's got like a bunch of different colors in it with some leaves and mushrooms and some different floral pieces like that. I didn't like this green paper there, or sorry, that bluish green paper that sort of was the same color tone as my second accent paper. I just thought they would compete against each other too much. And here I'm just deciding between this brown paper and this green paper here as my last background paper. And I kind of decided that I like this brown one a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and use that one as our 4th and final background paper. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles. And for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside. And so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, And the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to cut our background paper. So we need to cut 0.5 inches off on one side and 0.5 inches off on the other. Now we did tear these out of our paper pad, which means that there's a little bit of a jagged edge on the one side. So what I like to do whenever we have like an edge like that that's not 100% perfect is we're just gonna use that to cut. We're gonna use that side to cut our 0.5 inches off on, and then just rotate the page 90 degrees and cut it again at 0.5 inches. Okay, so I get a lot of questions about my photo mats, where I buy them, how I do them. So I actually just create mine in a word processor document. So what I'll do is I'll just go into my word processor, I'll create a shape. So for me, it's usually a rectangle, and then I'll define the size. So 4x6 or 3x4, 4x4, 3x3, all the various sizes, and then I'll multiply that shape as many times onto a 8.5 by 11 page as I can, and then I print it off on scrap paper or regular printer paper. For me, this is strictly a temporary solution. I don't leave these on my pages for very long. I do replace them with real pictures after I'm done filming my video. So I don't worry about it being photo safe or any of those things. I just use scrap paper that I have that I can run through my regular printer. Hope that helps. Okay, so normally in this cutting guide, this striped paper here is double-sided. So we get to use the back side of it typically. So because we didn't do that this time and I had that strip there, I decided to convert that strip into a sort of like a little banner piece that is going to stick out of my yellow cardstock, but we're not going to apply that striped piece yet until we start embellishing and I know where I want to place it and what I want to place it with. So I just kind of improvised our cutting guide there on that page. Okay, so here what I did is I took those 12 by 12 journaling card type of pages and I cut them up into pieces so that we are ready to use them when we want to. I pulled out the thickers and then the sticker sheet along with all these die cuts. So that sticker sheet for me it's got like a high gloss sort of a finish to the sticker, but then these die cuts here have almost a very lightly embossed feel to them. So when you run your hand over top of them, they're actually bumpy, like you can, like it's a bit raised. They're very, very classy and beautiful. I really, really do enjoy the variety of sizes of embellishments that came with the die cuts. And if anything, there's not enough smaller elements. But I really did enjoy how they filled the page and how they coordinated with the papers. So I think the pages turned out beautiful, and I'm really happy with this collection for sure. So here with this 4x6 photo area, I did consider changing it to a 5x7 photo area, which I'm still undecided if I'm going to change that to a 5x7 photo area rather than a 4x6 photo area. So that's something I might just decide a little bit later on. I'd have to move some of my embellishments around a little bit. So I moved up that gray striped, or that neutral colored striped paper, neutral colored cardstock, sorry. I moved that up because I wanted that titling that says Thomas. I wanted that titling to be on that neutral color rather than that green colored cardstock, just because I think it looks better on that neutral color. So I moved it up so that most of that title was on that color. And then I'm just going to kind of embellish around this whole area. I feel like that stork really took up that left side of that 4x6 photo area really nicely. And here I'm just playing around with what I want to put at the bottom of this page. My kids' baby albums are already finished, so I don't need a lot of baby pages, so I only did 4 pages today. But if you do want to do more pages with this, especially being a paper pad, I would definitely consider buying more embellishments. I would buy like something to coordinate, like enamel dots or other various things. I feel like a lot of the die cuts in this collection are big, and which is really nice, which is awesome. Usually collections don't have that, but I would find some little elements that maybe are very neutral, or even try and incorporate some more of the papers from the paper pad and create a bunch of strips or smaller elements with the papers. So here I'm just kind of finishing off doing some embellishments. I did pop up that butterfly. I also popped up that love you heart. And then I directly adhered that square that says, and so the adventure begins today. And then that banner piece under the word Thomas, I just popped up the side that was underneath the H. Okay, so for this next page, I kind of wanted to use some of the circle elements that are available. So I went ahead and put those elephants, those are so cute, and I thought that they coordinated well with the colors of our neutral colored cardstock, also with the background. So I used this bigger circle here that says, I'll keep you safe, you keep me wild. And then this Be Wild die cut piece, I actually popped it up, and then I just tucked in this linear titling that says Sweet Baby. Okay, so I put those leaves, I tucked them around that 4x6 photo and kind of behind some of the other elements, and I also popped up that birdie along the top of that page. Now I felt like those two circles needed a little bit something extra, so what I went ahead and did is took one of our stickers that says 1 month and I popped it up and I put it sort of in between the two. And I thought that that third circle element really brought some balance to the page, and it, even though it's such a small little circle, I really feel like it pops out and it pops up like with those other circles there. Now I did this, I used the 1 month because I have pictures of my kids with their little with their little cousin, and it was about when he was a month old. He was a little bit older than a month, but it was pretty close to a month. So, I mean, I made it work, but you can definitely make it work for what works for you. They do on the sticker sheet have stickers for 1 month through 12 months, but they are different colors, but I think any color would work really well on that page. So, I'm not doing my kids' baby albums with this collection because they're already finished. But we do have a lot of nieces and nephews in our family, and so I have a lot of pictures of when you go visit them in the hospital, or when you're like baby showers in our family tend to be after a baby is born, not before. So you end up with lots of pictures of babies for those different events and just from random visits. So there I have, for this collection, my inspiration for pictures was going to visit one of my nephews in the hospital when he was born, and also of my kids holding him on various other occasions when he was a bit older. So for me, this isn't just about birth. This is going to be, so those first few months with my kids and their cousins, things like that. So this page, I used the 3x4 journaling area as a base with some mountains, and this page talks kind of just about adventures and explore. I think it just had some good quotes and stuff like that, and just this is, for me, is just going to be a general type of page of my kids with their cousins. It's not going to be specific to anything. That's why I'm not leaving any big journaling areas. The only issue, I think, looking at this page that I have now is that there's a little bit of a blank area between the two pictures, but that's okay. After seeing how this page turned out, I am considering maybe changing out some of my pictures. Instead of using the ones I was going to use, I might actually, because this page ended up so much about adventure, and you could almost use it as like a zoo page, I might end up using this page with some other pictures that are just more of my youngest son outside playing, just sort of like outdoor pictures. I really like the whole adventure theme to that page, and I don't think it necessarily has to be about babies. Okay, so for our last page here, this is going to be another kind of general page. I just have some just standalone pictures of one of my nephews, and so I was just planning to a page where I could put those candid pictures. So it's not like it was an event, or it wasn't anything, like the picture doesn't really depict something that you would necessarily have to tell a story about. It's just kind of a general, really nicely taken photo. So what I did is I used my thickers here, and I am putting a date on the bottom of my 4x6 photo area. So I did from May 31st, 2019. So I put 05, and then I used the bottom little periods on the exclamation points to put in, to separate the numbers so that it would depict a date. So earlier we had cut a banner piece from that extra accent paper, and then I just layered on top of it an actual banner die cut piece that came with the collection that says, "Oh boy, I've got joy." And then I just put a few more accents on there that were just sort of general boy items. And then at the top here, I felt like it needed a little something, so I put Our Little Gentleman, and then I'm framing around that with a few leaves that I adhered directly to the page. And then this little toy here, I popped it up and then put another little leaf behind it. Okay, so I think we're gonna leave this page the way it is. I might journal a little bit underneath that date, just with some strip journaling, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So that's pretty much it for this week's tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, there will be still pictures on the website, which there's a link to that below. And we will see you guys next Friday with a new video, and we are going to be getting into Halloween. So we're going to do Halloween for 2 weeks, and then after that we got a few random things, and then we're already heading into Christmas. So have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you next Friday.